Hello and welcome to Cards and Coaching. Today I would like to talk about clarification cards and also bring up several examples. But before I would like to explain my own experiences concerning those cards. So when I started reading cards, I came up with one card that I did not understand and I picked another card as a clarification card. And very often, as I still didn't understand the cards, I ended up with 2 or 3 cards I didn't understand. And even if I understood the explanation of the clarification card, it didn't mean that I knew how to fit both together to get an information of that first card or to understand the first card better. There is one thing. A lot of people who start reading cards are told at the beginning to use one card a day. Personally, I invite you to take a little bit longer. Give yourself time to get acquainted to the cards. There's so many things that you could see on a card that please give yourself the possibility to get really in touch with the card. So, for example, there are different things, different aspects on the card that you see. There are people on those cards. Maybe you take the time to daydream about the situation on the card. Maybe you take the time to imagine you had a conversation with the persons on the card. Maybe there are animals on the card and you might look them up, maybe in a shamanic way, or just understanding something about those animals in nature. Or maybe you even have a deck like the Enchanted Forest Tarot where animals are on the cards, and so you can learn something about those animals in real life and what that could mean in your own life. So a week is a good way to start. You may say that there are so many cards, and if you spend your time a week at a card, that you will never end. But personally, I think that using one card a day and not really getting linked to the card or finding things where later on you will say, the moment you see the card, yes, it is about that and that, might not really be helpful either. So maybe you make a mixture of both, or maybe you try something else. It's always up to you. But maybe just becoming a little bit more patient with yourself and with the cards would help to really find a good starting point later on to read the cards. Something else might be interesting. Find out if there's a card that you like and why you like it, and if there's a card that you dislike and why you dislike it. In the beginning, it might seem that it isn't getting you anything out of the card, but it helps you understanding yourself better, and later on, it will give you the possibility maybe to understand other people better too, because you build up a certain empathy concerning the people on the card, and so also the people you will read the cards to later on. Another way to learn about cards was a way I used already in one of my videos. It's about using one card and different decks and then taking the differences, taking a look at the differences. Why did one person draw it like this, the other one like that? Why do you like one card better than the other, and so on? So not simply trying to bring other cards in when you are focusing on one card, but really keep your focus a little bit on one card. But there's another way that I am using when it comes to clarifying what a card tells me. And it is what I call the card in the card. So I give you examples as I go along. For example, on my Everyday Witch Tarot, the Chariot is quite a modern one. And the moment I take a look at that card, I say, those 2 signposts, could they be the card of 2 of Wands? Now, if you take a look at this card, you might say that it seems she doesn't know where she could go to, where her goal is. So should she go that way or that way? And maybe it has something to do with the fact that she doesn't see where those roads are heading. So if I take the Two of Wands of that card, I see a person who is on a higher position, and so she gets the whole picture. So for me, for example, this is a good way if I have the Chariot in this deck, for example, and I have the feeling I don't know if I should, in a decision, go one direction or the next, then maybe I try to get a little bit more distant to the whole situation so that I can have a whole picture and get a better idea what direction my goal lies into. It's not that it is absolutely my goal, but as I'm always saying, it's about not into that direction, not to try to pinpoint completely and believe that every step is immediately completely focused on our goal. Another example that I might show you is the Nine of Wands. So in the Nine of Wands, you see this woman. She is the back not against the wall, but against a tree. And here you see 7 wands on the floor. So I don't think that I have to explain. Let's take a look at the 7 wands. So here we see that she has people pointing their wands or maybe pointing their fingers at her. And in this card, her back is open, so she can even be backstabbed in a certain way. So maybe the first card explains us that sometimes we have to find a position where we feel a little bit protected because there might be people who are attacking us or accusing us of something. So this becomes more clear the moment you take a look at this other card. So let's go for another one. On the Strength card, we see that the woman has a wand. So I have chosen the Ace of Wands, but maybe it could also be the Queen of Wands that you take out to get a better explanation. So the strength that explains us about our own power. So the moment we know about our own power, it doesn't mean that we have to stay on that position saying, oh, I know who I am and I know what I am capable of, but also using this power. And that is what the Ace of Wands starts showing us, this first step into that power and with that power. There is yet another card. So here, for example, I have one where I pick up the 2 other cards. The Five of Cups. So you see she's kneeling in front of 3 cups and the other 2 cups are on the table. So let's take a look at the 2 other cards. The one with the 2 of Cups, we have a situation where the person is maybe in a romantic dinner, and the other one, she's partying with her friends, maybe. And those are the 3 cups that are lying down that cannot be filled again. So maybe this has a lot to do about the wrong decision that the person took. So that is, for example, something I would question my client on the moment I end up with such a card and bringing up those 2 cards to explain to the person why this idea comes up in my mind. Another one that I thought very interesting is the Ten of Cups. On the Ten of Cups, you see a family. But is the family really whole if you take a look at it like this? Because the parents focus on each other and the son is caring for the child. And then take a look at the cups again. We have 4 cups on one side, we have 6 cups on the other. Well, let's take a look at those. On the 6 of Cups, you see again one person, one child caring for the other. So that part seems to be okay. But on the 4 of Cups, maybe the parents, the father in this case, is focused on his work and isn't in contact with his son, with his child. So again, a question you can bring up at such a moment. I bring one last. I have two different decks to better clarify this one. It is the Ten of Pentacles, where at the end of on the background you see a tower. So a tower that later on will be destroyed. So the stability that you might have in a Ten of Pentacles is not something that will stay forever. It might be at risk, or if we do not work on that stability so that something stays stable in a certain way, then it will just fall down like the tower does. To even show this more clearly, I have here the Albana-Waite Tarot, where here you see very clearly the tower and then the destruction of the tower. Yet another example like that, so I'm not the only one with this idea, is the Seven of Swords. I haven't shown it here. I will give you the link of Raven's Arcana, who came up with the Seven of Swords, where you will see a person taken away five swords, excuse me, five swords, and the Five of Swords is a fight that normally you have in the outside and leaves you with two swords, which is the inner conflict. So the person takes away your opportunity to project your inner conflict onto other ones, for example. I will show you the link so you can take a look at his video too. Also the other videos. He's very interesting and brings up a lot of ideas that might give us the possibility to get a better and a broader look at the cards and at the possibilities of how to understand the cards. So maybe this gives you an idea how to look at the cards in a new way and how to better understand them as you go along. So thanks for watching.